Hi, how you doing? My name's Locke. I'm from 2mcctv.com. Today I'm going to show you how to set up remote viewing on your Geovision system. Now, remote viewing is basically it allows you to view your cameras from a laptop and or your cell phone from anywhere around the world, as long as you got everything set up correctly. This is broken down into two video series, and this is video 1. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So on part 1, we're going to do 3 steps. Step 1 is going to be find the IP address of the Geovision system and the router's IP. We're going to enable the webcam inside our Geovision system, and we're going to test the IP address and make sure it works locally within our network before we go on and do the port forwarding settings. So let's go ahead and get started with step 1. Step 1 is find the IP address and the router IP address. We could do that by hitting the start button, typing in CMD, and hit enter. So basically just opening the command prompt. If you're on Windows XP, you can do this by hitting start, hit the run button, then type in CMD and press enter. We're going to type in IPconfig, IPconfig. We're going to press enter. And when you're doing these steps, you do have to be on your Geovision system. So right now I'm on my Geovision system and I'm typing in IPconfig, and it gives me the IPv4 address and my gateway. So this is my Geovision IP address and this is my router's IP address. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Remember, your IP address is going to be different from mine. So I'm just going to make a quick note. 35. Okay, and once we got step 1 done, step 2 is enable the webcam inside the Geovision system. So have your Geovision system open, click on the network icon on the bottom right hand side, then click on webcam server. When you click on webcam server, the server setup tab will come up. There's a couple of settings that we do have to change. The first one is going to be JPG. By default, it's unchecked. Make sure you have this checked. Mobile is going to be checked right here. Make sure it's unchecked, but make sure you check it to enable it. This will allow you to view your Geovision system on your iPhone or your Android phone. And lastly, I'm going to go to my general settings, my server setting. HTTP port is usually 80. Now, most time you could use this, you can leave it the way it is, and I do recommend leaving it the way it is. But if you're a part of a business that uses a port 80 for like your web server or anything like that, you're gonna have to change it to a different port number. So I'm in that situation. I already have a device that is using port 80. I'm gonna change it to 8080. Now, if you're unsure, if you're unsure that you're using 80, then odds are you aren't going to be using port 80. So just go ahead and leave it as 80. I'm going to hit OK. Oh, before I hit OK, write down these port numbers right here. So you're going to write down these 3 port numbers, and then you're going to write down the port numbers under mobile. So write down these 2 port numbers. So you should have 5 port numbers total. So go ahead and hit OK. When you hit OK, something that says web should pop up on the top right hand corner right here, like that. And then after that, we're done with step 2. But before I go on step 3, let me write down my port numbers so I won't forget them. 50, 5511, and 8866. So again, if you didn't write down, I recommend you writing down, because that is a lot of port numbers to remember. And when we go to video 2 and start doing the port forwarding settings, we do have to have all this information. So write it down so you can make it easier on yourself a little bit further down the road. Now, step 3 is just to test the IP address. We wanted to know that we set the webcam server right and everything's working within the network before we do any port forwarding. So let me go ahead and open up a web browser. If I could find one. Go ahead. Okay, so we're gonna open up the web browser and we're just gonna type in the IP address of our Geovision system. So get the IP address you got from step 1 and type it in your web browser. And if you did change for the people that changed their HTTP port from 80 to anything else, you're gonna have to put colon and whatever you changed it to. So I changed mine to 8080. I'm gonna have to put colon 8080. Now the reason for that is by default, every Internet Explorer, well, every web browser automatically puts colon 80 at the end of any address you type in. So if I'm typing in google.com, the web browser is automatically adding colon 80. So if I change my default 80 port on my Geovision system to 8080, my web browser is not going to know. So I have to put colon 8080 to tell it to pull data from that port. So I'm going to press enter, and what we should get is the login screen. So if you have a login screen that says webcam login, you did everything right and we're ready to move on to the next step, and that's going to be configuring your router and get everything set up for remote viewing. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you check out part 2 that's coming out, and check out other videos on the Geovision system, our YouTube channel, and visit our website at www.2mcctv.com.